Welcome back to our series of frequently asked questions in the real estate world. So you've made the decision to go ahead and start your home purchasing process. You might be wondering, how long does that take? What does that look like? And once you're under contract, can I back out? That's exactly what we're gonna cover in this video right now. A lot of times we get asked about the timeline of buying or selling a home. So how long does it take to buy a home? Or how long does that process take? Well, I always recommend that when you start looking, now I know you've probably been scrolling on Zillow for the past year if you've been thinking about purchasing a home in the near future. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the point you are finally start ready to look. Give yourself about 2 months to find the property that you like. It could be longer. I've had buyers love the very first property that they saw, and we did it. And I've also had buyers take 6 months to find a property or longer. So it depends on your needs and the current inventory and the current competition in the market. So at least give yourself 2 months. Now, take this into consideration when you have a lease that you might need to break or a lease that you might need to see through, because it is an additional expense. So once you start and you find your house, give the contract about a month to be. An average contract is about 30 to 45 days from contract to close. So on average, you're looking at about 3 months. It can take longer. It could take a little bit less time. But if you're planning on purchasing a home, give yourself about 3 months. Now, as a seller, it's really important to do the effort up front and start preparing your home for the sale. This means painting, any baseboard touch-ups, cleaning, decluttering. So depending on the current condition of your house, that could add to your timeline. But once you start the decluttering and the prepping process and you're done with all of that, it would take your agent about 2 weeks to get their home on the market. If they're doing videos and photos and staging and proper marketing, it would take about 2 weeks for your agent to get that home ready for them to put it on the market. And then how long it takes to get an offer, that solely depends on the property and it depends on the state of your market at the time. Again, real estate is seasonal, so it could be winter, it could be spring, it could be a down market, it could be high interest rates. So there's a lot of variables that factor in on it. Also, if you're here in Charlotte, we have really hyper local neighborhoods here. So there are some neighborhoods where properties are still selling within a day of being on the market. Make sure you're connecting with an agent and make sure they are giving you plenty of local information and compared recent sales for you to go off of so you can get a good idea of just how long it might actually take you to sell your home. As buyers, you might be wondering, can I back out of my contract? I mean, after all, buying a house is a really big deal and you only have like 15 to 30 minutes to check it out before you decide you might want to buy it. That is a big commitment. We get it. Can you back out of your contract? Here in North Carolina, yes. Yes, you can. Now, this is not free. This is not just laissez-faire, do whatever you want. Nope. We have what is called a due diligence period and deposit here. So if you are wanting to take a seller's home off the market, there is a deposit associated with this. Now, this is a negotiated amount. It can be anywhere from $200 to $100,000. It's endless. It depends on the price of the home. It depends on what works for you and the seller. Now, you can back out. You do just lose that deposit and any money that you have already spent, such as a home inspection or an appraisal fee, pest control, any fees that you might have incurred from the time you're under contract to the time you decide you want to cancel it. Those are also non-refundable and you cannot go after the seller for those. Generally speaking, obviously there's other gray areas, but yes, in North Carolina, you can back out of your contract, but it is going to cost you money and that will eventually overall eat into the funds that you have to purchase the property that you so choose. So make sure when you want to move forward on a contract that it is the house that you want, that you really stick to your must-haves, your top must-haves. I always tell my buyers, it's really easy to get overwhelmed and every house is different. So they're all gonna have different pros and cons, and something that's a pro in this house might be a negative in this house. So it does get overwhelming. Make sure you stick to your top 5 must-haves of, does this home fit your lifestyle needs? So that way, when something does come up in the transaction, maybe repairs are needed, it doesn't quite scare you away and you're like, you know what? It's a good house. This has everything that we need. We can work through this. There's variables. Obviously, not everything can be worked through, but if you stick to your must-haves, you will likely in the end be perfectly happy with the purchase of your home. I hope this answered your question. If you have any other questions or if you have any thoughts or comments, drop a question below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're thinking about relocating to the Charlotte area, be sure to reach out to my team and I. We'd love to help.